guys. I figured for my first tactical video I'd make a one on necrons. Some positives and negatives about necrons. Positively, necrons are very hard to kill. They have, basically, for the most part, they're Space Marine, like, they have the same stats roughly besides initiative with the Space Marine. So they have a 4 weapon skill, 4 ballistic skill, a 3 armor save. They have 10 leadership though, even though they only have like a 2 initiative. But that's still excellent. Let's see, positive things besides that. Yeah, they're really hard to kill. So if you're fighting them, a lot of times, you shoot them up. You might kill and knock down like 5 guys, but because of their special rules, you might only actually remove 1 or 2 from the tabletop. So they're very durable and very reliable when it comes to like just living. Very tough. Some other things that are great about necrons is the fact that they are very easy to paint. Like if you don't like painting, or if you just don't have the patience, or you just whatever, you just want to just paint real fast, necrons are great. You can just pick 1 to 2 colors, maybe just silver even, and just throw silver on them, like, or whatever, bolt gunmetal or whatever looks silver, or mithril, and just throw it on them, and they'll look great. They look like necrons. They look metal, and that's pretty much they're not hard to paint at all. They really are. The last thing I say is, I guess if you're a starter, if you don't really know what army to play, and I think, in my opinion, they're the ideal starter army, because you don't have to pay, you don't really have to upgrade that much. In fact, there barely or any upgrades. So it makes you pick your army. What you pay for is what you get, and it just helps a lot. Rather than going through the whole entire book on most codexes and being like, I don't know what the heck I want to bring. I have no clue what half this stuff does. So it kind of sucks in a way, but again, it helps you if you're new to the game. They're not that hard. You don't have much choices to pay for, like upgrades, unit upgrades. That helps you out. But again, moving on to the negatives, that kind of sucks too in a way, because of the fact that you don't have much customization. You don't have that force commander, that that X-Arch type. If you're playing Albert, for instance, that leader, squad leader, that gives you that versatility and extra, maybe abilities. Maybe that guy that just kicks butt in every squad. You don't have that, so it kind of stinks, in my opinion. And another thing that is negative about them is the fact that your troops, you only have 1 selection. They're warriors. Warriors are great. I always feel tons of warriors when I play necrons. But again, you only have 1 selection, so you're very limited. And also vehicles. Even though the monolith kicks the crap out of so much stuff, and it's such a cool model, so much fun to play, very tough and everything, it has all these crazy abilities, it's still, you only have 1 vehicle, so it kind of sucks if you're like a lot of versatility and stuff. Alright, well, moving on to the special rules. Necrons follow multiple special rules, but specifically the we'll be back rule and the phase out rule. The we'll be back rule basically states that, like at the beginning of your turn, if you have dead guys and stuff, as long as they weren't hit by a power weapon, a close combat weapon that ignores armor saves, and or something that was like double their toughness, or in an 8 or 9, you get to roll a die. So for each die, it's a 1, 2, or 3, they finally get removed from the table. At 4, 5, or 6, they come back up. They stand back up in the nearest unit. As long as I think it's 6 inches from another model of the same type. So if you're more than 6 inches, they just lay there. If you're at around 6, if you're 6 inches or closer to the dead model, they come back up on those rules, 4, 5, 6, and join the unit. I'll just show you a real quick example. Okay, so here we have some Dire Avengers and some Necron Warriors. Alright, let's say the Dire Avengers hit them on whatever, and they wounded on 10 of the die out of all their shots. So the Necrons have to take armor saves. They have a 3+ armor. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 die. 1 is left. Okay, normally you would take these models off the table. Well, with Necrons, you just lay them down, and we'll say the other player passes, and now you get the Will Be Back roll. So you roll 1, 2, or 3, they finally get removed. If you roll 4, 5, or 6, they come back into that unit, the closest unit, which is this, because it's the only unit I have here. So I have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 3 come up because I had 2 4s and a 5 and 2 1s. So these guys are finally removed from the table. So if you're playing as Necrons, it's really awesome. It's such a fun role, and it's so awesome just to kick the crap out of, seeing people being like, what? How the heck are they still on the table? I just killed 5 of them, But again, it comes at a price, but I think it's so much worth it. And the price is the second roll, which is the phase out roll. Phase out roll basically says that after you roll all your Will Be Back rolls, if you're left with 25% or lower in your army, so you count up all the Necrons in the beginning of the game that you have, specifically that follow the Necron rule, so not like for Rise and Tomb Spiders and Scarabs. Add all those up, and you find out what 75% of that total number is, and if you go over that, so say if you're left with 24%, then you basically lose the game instantly. You just lose. If you really have problems phasing out, just field tons of warriors and/or just tons of Necrons. Just keep going Necrons. Alright, well, moving on to the Lord. The Lord is 100 points. What the heck is he? He's 100 points a model. I always take at least 1 Lord. I normally take actually 2, but always try to take 1. Always. Even if you're playing 500 points, just jam him in there somehow. Just jam him in there. Give him a Resurrection Orb. Your Necrons will rarely phase out. Unless he dies or something, but normally it helps you so much. Okay, well anyway, you can take 100 points of equipment. If I take 1 Lord, I usually give him the Destroyer body, so it's 30 points. He gets 1 plus toughness, and he's basically immune from death. A Resurrection Orb for 40 points, and that basically says that everyone 6 inches away from him gets those Will Be Back rolls regardless of what they were hit by. So that Power Fist, Pulse Laser or whatever, they still get that. Everyone 6 inches away. Units too, including the Lord. So if you have a unit 6 inches away from him, and they got hit by a Fire Prism, normally they would get crushed. But with the Lord, you still get that chance of coming back. And maybe a Phase Shifter, it's 30 points, so he gives him a 4 plus invulnerable save. If I run a second Lord, I normally give him the Veil of Darkness. So basically, it gives you every turn you can take the Lord in whenever, like a Necron unit. It has to be Necron though, off the table. So like Flayed Ones or Immortals, Heavy Destroyers, Warriors. Take them off the table and they get the Deep Strike every turn. As long as they're within 6 inches of the Lord, which is really nice. So you can put like a unit of Immortals in there, Deep Strike them, shoot, take them off the table. Just keep doing that over and over again. I usually give him a Resurrection Orb as well. That comes up to 100 flat. You can take War Sights for 10 points. You don't have to. The Staff of Light actually is really good. It's a power weapon, and it ignores armor saves. And you can also shoot. It shoots 3 shots to 12 inches with AP 3, so it is pretty good. But I usually always do for 10 points Eye Field to steal. He has 4 initiative, 5 strength, 3 attacks, and the War Sight basically says that they get no armor, no ward. So if you wound, they just take the wounds. They don't get their armor saves or the invulnerable saves. And it really is good to bash up anything that's really tough, and especially the Lord. I mean, if you fight Terminators are a pain in the butt to fight. Throw the Lord in there. I know it's risky, but throw them in there and just bash the crap out of them. They'll do so much, in my opinion. I mean, I've seen it happen. They get crushed so if you have anything that's really hard to kill, that War Sight is really nice. Also against tanks, it's 2d6 plus strength for armor penetration, so they are good tank killers. Alright, well in the next one I'll do the elite section and the troop section.